It does. Oh, Lord, here he comes again. It's 8:05 in the evening, open air log. It's August 25th, 2020. I was trying to get something down on my paper, on my mind over here. Blathering was the last video at this point over here. I was trying to get some kind of clarification. The classes I'm taking over at Antelope Valley Community College in Lancaster, California. One was concerning about American literature from a certain point of view, from 1400s all the way through 1860. It's a hell of a lot of coverage to do on that one. And in this particular class, we're covering history along with literature. And it's pretty interesting when I'm learning about this stuff because I'm also going over the information I've just learned back in a couple of years in U.S. history classes and American history classes and in world history classes, civilizations classes I've taken already that match up or sometimes overlap or correct a few things left and right. And it's interesting that when my instructor talks about stuff, she goes to a certain point, but beyond that point, she hadn't had the context. See, the reasons why I keep taking classes for the past nearly 5 years over at Antelope Valley College, besides understanding that I need to get an English degree at this point over here. Long story on this one. Check the videos out on this one because I've talked about this thing a lot. But the thing of it is, the more I keep taking classes with different subject matters that may or may not relate to my targeted major, it gives me context. Context. Context to understand that one thing happens to relate to another, happens to relate to another, relate to another. It's like a spider web at this point over here, constructing something. You've got a central topic here, but it's spread out with interlacing geometric designs on the thing. And pretty shortly, you got this weird ass design that maybe, just maybe, it makes sense to look at this thing. Maybe, just maybe, it makes clarity of what you're learning. It brings things out. I kept asking myself, why the hell was I learning all this? Why wasn't I learning all this stuff in this way when I was growing up as a kid? Because I wasn't mature. I didn't have context. I didn't have context of life, how things applied towards each other. Now I do. But if I had that context coming in, going through school, nobody gives you that context. They give you the road. They give you the road. They experiment in science classes, in shop classes, in industry classes, what if they actually still have those things. They give you music, art, literature to understand a few things. But because of things happened throughout the 40s, 50 years I've been alive, classes have gone away that would have added depth, meaning, context to whatever is happening here. That would have enticed a person, that would have enriched a person, that would enlighten a person to creatively grow one way or another, in one direction or another direction. And not realizing this as a kid. I mean, you don't realize this kind of thing unless you already had a passion for something. I thought I had a passion for reading. I thought I had a passion for writing. But apparently it wasn't expressed enough and it wasn't even encouraged enough. And I didn't push myself enough, and neither did my family, unfortunately. Not enough. My mother wanted me to get through school. She wanted me to get good grades. She wanted me to graduate because, quite honestly, she'd never been through the stuff I had been through. And to be honest about it, my own mother had life experiences that prevented her from completing an education that she desired above everything else, but she never had the chance to complete it. And she wanted her siblings to do it. She wanted her sons to do it. And my brother, he graduated from high school, but he never got through college. He's been through military. He got out. He had life's experiences. He had both good and bad. He tried to go back to college, but he couldn't do it at an old age. He regretted it ever since the old day he died. Falls on my shoulders. When I got out of high school, I went into college because my mother was insisting on it. My mother wanted me to push ahead further than anybody else had. She wanted me to get that education. She wanted me to have a good life. She wanted a lot of things out of me that I didn't see, didn't have the context for, and didn't care about it in the first place. I was still stuck on a damn dream of being a writer. But I really didn't work on it hard enough. Even though I did do a few stories here and there, but not enough of a deep enough passion for it. I mean, reading books, yes. And I knew I loved reading books like crazy. To get context, to get knowledge, to get adventure, to get something into my soul, get something in my head. And because of this, I like literature. I like reading. I like studying. I like understanding what's going on around me. And I used to have a nice, huge library. Had to get rid of it. Life happens and you lose things. Even the stuff that means a damn to you. Had no choice. But they're still in here and they're still in here. Some things I can pull back, some things I can try getting, other things I can't. But I get a little more of a context, a little bit more of appreciation of the stuff that I lost physically, but not the knowledge that I gained down the road. And what I couldn't do at the college at a young age, and had to pay the price for that one. My mother gave me two choices, either homeless or you work full time. She hated me not going back to a school to get an education. She tried to encourage me, and I tried, but work always interfered. And I was not able to go back to a college to continue my courses because I always had to have funds coming into the house all the time. I had to work, had to eat, had to survive, had to pay bills. If I want a roof over your head, I want clean clothes, you got to pay for it. You got to work your ass off. You got to learn trades. You got to go to trade schools to understand things and to re-educate yourself and to work on things. I did. And regretted it by not going back to college. But I was situated to where work was it. Screw relationships, you got to work. Relationships, a lot of things I sacrificed, and I wish God I hadn't. It still hurts like hell. I'm a 54-year-old fart with mouth conditions right now. I'm an overweight tub of blob of grease at this point over here, but with a passion of learning for stuff that I still want to get my brain working in. Because I still want to focus more on the brain work than I do about the morbid body here. See this? Got it read? Okay. My college course. Part of it anyway. I got a larger book. That is strictly for one particular class. The other classes, I've got other sci-fi books we got to keep talking about, and sci-fi movies left and right. Another time for that particular matter anyway. But it all relates to what I'm doing, which is still trying to feed this. I'm 54 years old. I had over 30 years of work, of retraining of different things left and right, but I had context enough, and 30 years of kicking my ass left and right, telling me that I couldn't do college work until it got to the point where, after my mother's passing, to honor her, but also to complete a promise I made with her and myself and my brother, I was going to do this. So for 5 years, I've been doing this. My brother's been gone for coming up on 2 years, and September 8th. My mother passed in February of 19, finally, of 2013. And there's a lot of emotional baggage regarding this that hurts me a great deal. But I'm willing to deal with it because I've made promises and I was not going to fall back on those. I am not about to give up myself because I can't do this again for a third try. This is it. I have got to get it. And along the way, learn a hell of a lot more things than I learned about. And I'm having a ball of it. Some things probably piss me off even further, and other things that lighten me up that I've never known. And it's a journey, and I'm not done with it yet. I'm not done with doing what I've got to do right now. I wish I could talk to the younger students. I wish I could talk to the teenagers I've got in this apartment complex over here as adults or from one student to another. I wish I could talk to the people who keep dropping out of schools left and right because they feel they can't do it. Well, I got news for you. My grandmother used to say, a cancer slugger too lazy to try, and half the time I think she was crazy, but the rest of the time she's right. She's right. You're young enough, you think you know better, but you don't. You don't have context. You don't have enough context to understand the reasons why. Why you need that college education. Why you need to get ahead like that. Because there's consequences afterwards. But even so, in the reality that we're dealing with right now, sometimes even a college education may or may not help you at that moment. But it will down the road. You just have to find ways to apply it. You got to find ways to find your niche, find your passion. Find something that is enthralling the living crap out of you. For me, it's writing. It still is. I mean, in the classes I'm taking right now, I'm going to be typing out more papers at this point over here. I'm hoping for that. My fingers are getting itchy again. And every time I've been in history classes or political science classes or even a couple of English classes, I'm still writing. They want things cut and dried in a certain way, and I'm looking at different ways. How to make the information more appetizing and yet informative. You got to find ways to navigate the cut and dry, cut and paste world of education. I know it because I've survived it. From kindergarten all the way through high school. And then in college, we had to show initiative. We never were taught initiative. In the cut and paste societies or in cut and paste school systems or even the schools themselves, we had to learn things by rote. Meaning memorization, recitation, memorization, recitation. The only things you had to keep challenging with you is mathematics or maybe science experiments or maybe industrial or music. Something that stimulates this. Even when you're in English classes, going through junior high and then high school, if there was something inside of you, if there was something burning in you, if there was a passion, if there was something that was screaming to get out, put it on paper. Write it up. You know it's going to look like crap, but then again, every damn piece of art is usually looking like crap in the first place. But you already see the item right there. All you got to do is chip away the pieces. All you got to do is chip away. And you got to learn those techniques on how to chip away. And then you see the masterpiece. I'm like, whoa, did I do that? Yeah, you did that. You became a sculptor. You became an author. You became a scientist. You became something beyond yourself. A musician. You discovered passion, imagination, a world of wonder. Reading, for me, growing up as a kid, was a passion of mine. My mother gave me simple books. She gave me more complicated books as I got older. In elementary school. I read comic books as well. Well, you got to have something anyway. But in artistic expressions, storylines, sometimes they're mature that you didn't even understand, but it still stinks in your brain. It percolates, it circles around in the head. It stores in certain neurons ready to be pulled out. When you have that much passion about reading and writing, and then you start writing your stuff, and the teachers are saying, wrong. It's not exactly the idea that they're talking about. It's the technique that you still have to work on. You still have to work on. Because sometimes they're a lot harder on us than we realize. Friends and family can try to seeing it, and then they'll try to say, okay, well, why can we try it this way? Teachers want things by the book. But if there's going to be any creativity and passion, they want to see it out. But they want to know if you're able to figure this out and get it out in the way they're looking for it. They want to know if you've got certain techniques that they've already taught you in order to get the idea out, and afterwards you go with it. You explore. And I still had to learn that the hard way. I still have to. Some things are easy and other things aren't. But you don't give up. Some things may take a lot longer, but you don't give up on it. You can't give up on yourself. I've seen too many people in my lifetime give it up on a hell of a lot of things because I know I've been there too many times. Giving up on a hell of a lot of things that I wish I could have done. There's things I wasn't able to do in the first place. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't be able to be an inspiration to somebody else in one way or another. Everything else is own timing. Everything has its own timing. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how. It just is. You accept it, roll it with it, go on. But you don't let it discourage you, because I know what being discouraged is all about, too. Believe me, I know what major depression is like. I've been in those voids too many damn times. I have felt when I couldn't even write anything. I didn't hear the characters in my head. I didn't feel the passion of it. I had to work. I had to survive. And I had to push things aside because certain things had other priorities. But you know what? It was still there inside, just waiting for me to continue to do so. Other people can continue to do so because they really have the mad passion for it. But for me, reality keeps interfering sometimes, and I have to fight for survival. I also have to fight for time to get stuff taken down. And I know what that's like. I know what it's like to work full time and go to school. I know what it's like to go to full time school and go to work. I've been through both. I've been through two jobs. I haven't been through three jobs, but two jobs. But they were still full time. No time for writing unless you take break times to do so. So there you got three jobs. And the fourth job is taking care of your family. So yeah, four jobs. So yeah, I know how that stress feels. I know what the stress feels like when you're in a family situation, alone, but also with people as well. I know what it's like when you're starving like crazy, but you still need to get your passion going. And you just have to keep trying. You have to keep finding ways to survive. It's not that easy. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was, everybody could do it. It's so damn simple that it doesn't mean a damn anymore. Since going to college for the last 5 years, in the past 5 years, I have seen a lot of students drop out because they can't hack. Life kicks them, or they feel like, why does it matter? They can't do it. It's those kind of students I like to reach out and talk to them if I can. I know a lot of people keep pushing and keep saying, well, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. They keep offering because either they want to help, or they're trying to encourage you to get help, or maybe they're just saying it for their own damn ego. I'm saying this Just simply. I've been where you've been. I've walked those. I've had too many worn shoes on those paths. I'm not a guru. I'm not all powerful. I'm not all knowledgeable. I just have experience, that's all. And some things I am amazed because there are certain experiences I still haven't gone through. See, I haven't been in a family dynamic where I would have a wife or a child to depend upon, and I need full time work, but also I want to go to school. I never had that dynamic. I had a mother to take care of, I had a brother to take care of, I had dogs to take care of. I had to go beg, borrow, and steal cans from places I never thought just to survive. Going to dumpster diving sometimes, pick things off the ground. An occasional bag of treasured bottles and cans that somebody just left, and you just grab it and go, and you get it recycled. And the person's on for worse for wiser. I mean, they don't know. But they left it there, hoping to hide it, and somebody finds it. It's buried treasure for one, a loss for the other schmuck. Nah, I can't say schmuck. Of course, I could say schmuck, or rather, I could say poor soul at that point. He didn't hide it too damn well. Or she. So yeah, there's a lot of things I regret. I've been hungry and had to study. I don't go on a soapbox, and I don't look at these videos as soapboxes. I don't want to consider it as soapboxes, trying to tell and convince people of what they should or should not do. I'm not telling you that. I'm just telling you what my experiences are at this point over here. And a bit of suggestions that you're free. You're absolutely free to disregard at this point over here because it's still up to you. It's all by choice. Some things you may not have any control over, but other things you do have a choice. You do have a choice. And as long as you understand that you got a choice at this point over here, you got a chance. You got a chance. You think it's not that easy? It's not supposed to be easy. You think it's not fun? It's not supposed to be fun. But it is work. But it's well worth it. You're looking for immediate payoff at this point over here. You're laying a stone down. You don't look at the constant piles that you have to take it out of. You see your goal down the road, but you need to build that road. One stone at a time, one step at a time, one action at a time, one choice at a time, one breath at a time if you have to. Eventually, you'll look around and you got there, and you wonder what the hell happened. But along the way, if you actually have a good memory enough, you remembered the journey. It's not the goal. I mean, once you reach a goal, fine, you can set another goal, another goal, another goal. But the thing of it is the journey. Because you have to keep taking time to look around and see where you're at and see what's going on around you. We're all on a journey. We're all on a path. We all have different locations. We all have different destinations. We have different places to go to. But don't forget along the journey, take a moment, pause, and look around. Take a mental snapshot. And just keep going afterwards. But keep a snapshot along with the other snapshots to take along the way. Because those snapshots are worth something down the road. Trust me on that one. Anyway, I've said a lot, so I'll probably say a lot more a little bit later tonight. And right now, it is 8:30. I have talked out, and I am putting myself to a short nap. So